It's October, guys. Guess what time it is? Spooky horror time! And what better way to celebrate this wonderful time of year than to talk about Death Note, that genre-blending anime about a boy, his death god, and a notebook that can let you kill people. Such a great thing. The duel of wits between L and Light, its themes of justice.
I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding and I will eliminate you. I am justice.
Or how about the Maymays?
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
All in all, I think that Death Note is a fun... Death Note, son!
Circula.
Hi!
Bijavola.
Hi!
Kavusinebnem. Sipupansa.
Hi! Wakarimashita. So it turns out I'm gonna be talking about Death Note 2017. The one with Nat Wolf.
Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Thanks for talking to me.
Obviously, Death Note has a huge Japanese following, multiple iterations before this. What's new about the Americanized version?
Well, I thought, the movie had been adapted beautifully in the Japanese versions, very faithfully to the anime and to the manga, and so it was nice to do a film version that sort of turned it on its head. That I think Adam has this sort of satirical sense of humor in like You're Next and The Guest and all his movies, so I knew he would bring sort of a Fight Club-esque edge to it. Fight Club-esque edge to it. Fight Club-esque edge to it.
So Death Note was not a well-received movie. Wikipedia summarized it as, Death Note received mixed to negative reviews, with critics calling it a bad decision on top of a festering pile of bad decisions. Holy shit. A lazy, unambitious, forgettable movie. And boring. Everyone hated it. The best professional review in Metacritic had this for the quote: Wingard's Death Note moves like a bullet and doles out practical gore and overheated melodrama in equal measure. So it's fast-paced and filled with drama. Two things I love the most. Also, the highest rated user review is spoilered, and when you see it, we are shown this. And I googled that, and it translates to, great, fuck if it's different from the anime. So, is that why it's rated as 10? Because it was a warning?
You're the hero we need.
So why does this movie exist?
Always thought the concept of Death Note in itself is really cool. This movie's about what happens when you give the ultimate power to a teenager. My brother and I grew up watching lots of anime, and I always thought if I was ever going to adapt something into a movie that I should do Death Note. The story itself is so crazy and fantastic that you can interpret it in so many different ways.
We definitely want to take what's great about Death Note, the light and dark and the moral ambiguity of killing someone for the sake of a better world. We are making Adam Wingard's vision of Death Note something completely different.
He said, I just want to make the most kick-ass version of a movie with a kid with a killer notebook. And I was like, that sounds fucking awesome.
I disagree. I think if anything, this is proof positive of a cruel, merciless god. Adam Wingard, Old Testament god, think about it. And just as a heads up, no, I didn't finish the anime, but I watched few episodes of it. I like the memes. So I don't have nostalgia glasses, I didn't grow up watching it, but I can still say that this movie sucked. We are introduced to our protagonist Light, doing homework for a dude, and he gets money for it. Yeah, it's cheating. It's in the middle of the park of the school, which shows us how smart this guy is. Hey, if you're gonna do something covert, why are you doing it in the middle of the place where everyone can see you? Those kids have eyes, right? They saw the exchange of money. Hey, isn't it weird that Light is just sitting there answering something and just giving the paper to this guy? Hey, that's kinda strange, isn't it? Nah, fuck it. Maybe he's too smart for us. Maybe it's an elaborate game that we mere mortals cannot understand Or it's possible that they don't give a fuck, like our hero. Look at that face. No one understands my torment. Oh, I'm so tortured. Oh. And we get this girl, a cheerleader, who is not doing the cheer. I know cheerleaders from way back when. I'm pretty sure that you have to raise your arms while you do this part. And she's also smoking while everyone else is practicing. You cannot handle the rebellion! So we got a stupid faggot and an edgy, rebellious cheerleader. You guys are made for each other. And they do this scene from the anime where Light picks up the notebook that fell from the sky. Only if they maintained something of the character. But we'll get to that.
Don't rain on me.
So we got stereotypical bully shit, resolved in a pathetic, nerdy manner.
Hey, don't touch her!
Hey, I don't need your help, okay?
That's all you're gonna do? Out all by yourself, come and teach me a lesson?
You got held back, didn't you, Kenny? Twice, I think.
You think that's funny?
No, I think it's very sad, actually. I only mention it because that would make you over 18, which means that if you were to beat me up, which I'm sure you could, it would technically be child abuse.
Ah yes, of course, chap. Brilliantly argued. Excellent rhetoric. What's impressive about the punch is that it has the effect of opening his backpack to reveal the test papers, but somehow the Death Note and every other fucking thing inside it doesn't fall out. Whatever, it's awfully convenient just to set up the philosophy of Light.
I'm looking at homework here for at least 15 different students.
Are we really not going to discuss the fact that I have an ice pack on my face?
The nurse says you'll be fine.
All right, I get it. I'm in trouble. All I'm trying to say is, you have the chance to stop the type of people who make things hard for everybody. You gotta see the big picture here.
This guy is making an argument that you should go after the bullies that make this place bad. Which is true. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be punished because you were caught cheating. When you do it this way, it seems like a child got caught and was making shit up so that he wouldn't get punished. So Light gets detention and we get the most cringe-inducing scene in the movie. Lights flicker, everything goes dark, creepy shit. And this introduces us to Ryuk, the death god. Yes, gentle viewer, our protagonist. I can get any normal person getting freaked out by seeing a death god. That's what they're doing here. They reimagine Light as this teenager who is way over his head. In the anime, when Light met Ryuk, he was already using the Death Note, so he had the shock reaction. But he kinda expected that it was supernatural to begin with.
Yeah. 待ってたよ, Ryuk.
Oh? In this version of Light, he never used the Death Note. So I agree with the idea that if you are going to introduce Ryuk to Light this way, it would make sense for him to scream. But I just don't like the execution. I don't know why they put this here. I think they were trying to make it funny. But I don't find Light likable is the problem. He's whiny, and while he does have a point, it looks like he's trying to escape punishment.
You gotta see the big picture here.
I'm not laughing when I see this. I'm just fighting the urge to kill myself. We could endlessly speculate on why this scene was in the film. There is still one person who is responsible for this.
Adam Wingard's vision of Death Note is something completely different.
Light expresses the feelings of the audience at this point.
Relax, Light. You're asleep. You're asleep and you're dreaming of some 8-foot-tall, demon-looking motherfucker.
Ryuk decides to humor Light. Okay, bruv, it's a dream, right? Why don't you take this pen, write the name of the faggot that kicked your ass, and tell us he gets decapitated, why don't ya? Holy fuck. Then we cut to the dining table and there's Turner family dinner time.
You don't think cheating's a big deal?
You wouldn't understand anyway.
Because you're just that smart or because I'm just that dumb?
Because this is what you do. Instead of actually trying to solve real problems, you spend your life looking over people's shoulders so you can bust them for bullshit, like not turning in the reports or whatever.
Guns is only as good as its aim, son. I make sure people can trust our aim.
I mean, you're a cop. How do you sleep at night knowing you just watched while a mob guy like Anthony Scoma walked away?
Hey, what you think I just watched?
If I was a cop and some guy ran over my wife, I'd be pretty pissed off. If his dad paid his way out of jail, he killed my mom, he nearly beat his girlfriend to death, and you just sit there saying the same bullshit about how people better just trust your aim.
You're
and
still
just
pretty
trust
raw by what you saw today at school.
And to be honest, I don't mind him calling out his dad like this. If they were gonna make him rant about injustice, this would have been the better scene. This makes Light a stronger character because you could get where he's coming from. He's more sympathetic, rather than that kid who's trying to look for an excuse.
What exactly can I do with this death note?
What exactly did you have in mind?
Light decides to use the notebook to kill Skomal. It works, no shit. And we get some Mia time.
What is it?
What is what?
Your book?
Can't tell you.
Okay.
Do you really want to know?
The lady is just a setup for the plot, because Light decides to show her the secret. Why though? I guess this makes sense. Men historically have done stupid shit in the name of women. Eons ago, in ancient Greece, like 2 million years ago or some shit, the Trojan Wars were fought because of Paris. If you didn't know, Paris was chosen to judge who between Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite would be the hottest, and they all bribed him to gain favor. Athena offered him wisdom and skill in battle.
Perfect.
Hera offered political skill and control over Asia.
We do not just survive, we prosper.
And Aphrodite just went straight up and said, "I'ma give you the hottest woman on the planet." It turns out Helen was married to this king in Sparta. And because Paris took her away to Troy, that started a war. And because one guy had to think with his dick, countless people in Troy had to die. Wow, that's kind of a downer, isn't it? Speaking of people dying...
The woman whose name is written in this note shall die. I'm gonna get out of here.
No, don't go. Trust me. You of all people are going to want to see this.
How did you know that? No, seriously, how did you know that? You remember the last time someone got into trouble?
Mia Sutton says she saw you walking into a beam out back. How do you think we found you?
What is your basis for saying this? Plot convenience. That translates to shitty writing. So Mia and Light kill this guy via stream. Take note of this because it will be interesting later on. And Light decides to become a god.
God that never lets anybody down. It's not gonna solve a few crimes, it's gonna solve all crime.
A god that scares the shit out of the bad guys until they don't want to be bad anymore.
God inspires hope that things can actually change. Kira.
What does that mean?
It actually means light in Russian or Celtic.
I googled this and a Reddit thread pointed out that this was not the case. A Russian says that Kira doesn't mean light in Russian. Apparently it's Zvet. And apparently it means dark in Old Irish, which is Celtic. But then some other guy corrected it. In Modern Irish, dark is Darka, light Solus. So I decided to verify the information said by these guys to see if it was true. You know how much this bothered people? It autofills that option from the film. People really looked for this shit. Why did you guys do this? Did you think people wouldn't notice or give a fuck? Speaking of give a fuck...
Can I kiss you?
Guys, don't ask. Kiss the girl. These guys go on a killing spree. Kira becomes God. And this sets up... So they're enjoying their spot as being gods of the new world, punishing the wicked, and the just feel safe.
Kira's had a bigger impact on crime than anything I've ever seen.
Not for long, bitch. Hot on the trail is Hiro Nakamura.
Honey?
And this ninja-looking motherfucker called L. He has a hunch on where the killer is, so we get there now. So L sends his friend/father figure
I am what daddy.
to get Daddy Dearest because he's smart enough to figure shit out.
Shall we help one another?
Meanwhile...
Justice for the wicked. What is this?
It's a site for Kira worshippers. They put up all the names of all the people that deserve to die.
Holy shit.
Looks like a Reddit subpage.
No, how do we know that it's real?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, what if somebody fucked your girlfriend and you put him on the list because you just want to kill him?
What would you do if some guy fucked me?
Oh, I'd kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kill him.
Yeah.
You kill him.
Okay, yeah, but that is the exact reason why we can't kill people based on website rumors.
Oh wow. Light actually has a point. Light uses logic and only pisses me off.
This is 0 Day, Kira's first recorded murders, but previously, on April 15th, convicted felon James W. Brody had taken his wife and children hostage. Standoff had never made national news, and it was only broadcast on local Seattle stations.
That's not true though! Light and Mia managed to kill this guy because of the internet. They weren't watching it on TV.
And it was only broadcast on local Seattle stations.
So any fucker can just Google current murder spree, current hostage situation, anywhere in the world, and something will pop up, right? I tried to look for some answers on the internet, and TV Tropes has this discussion thing going on. It does say that the broadcast could be in a local news channel, and even if it was online, it could have been the website of the local news channel. But there's nothing to suggest that this search bar came from a local news channel. It could be a search bar from anywhere. And it doesn't automatically follow that if the news came from Seattle, the guy who killed Brody actually came from there. It's the motherfucking internet. While they do discuss that it makes more sense that the person who figured out where Brody is came from Seattle because it was being covered there, the movie didn't really show that Light was aware of the Brody situation. He just Googled it or used the search bar. It would have made more sense if they showed some context beforehand.
So that's how you knew he was here.
So that theory is kind of shady, isn't it? Wouldn't it make more sense if you just went with the story that made you go to Seattle in the first place? I put the info link for some Yakuza fucks in Seattle. Only Seattle dudes would have access to this info. Like what you said earlier.
どうしてキラは奴らの関係をしてたんだ。
私が手掛かりを開けたからです。ここしばらく警察のデータベースから無名の犯罪者の名前を漏らして引っかかるのを待ってたのです。これで誰を捕まればいいか分かりました。
Anyway, regardless of whether or not it's a fuck up, L shows he's got brass cojones.
Prior to his death, all of the victims have had their identities released to the media. This would suggest that Kita is not some omnipotent force. He's a person, like you or me. He is also a coward. A child wielding power he does not understand, mistakenly believing in doing so, he's at no risk to himself. He's wrong. Kita, if you're watching this, know that I am coming for you. Unless, of course, you'd like to kill me right now.
Now I'm rooting for this guy.
Just shut the fuck up.
Come on, bro. It's just a joke in heat of the moment. Light discovers he's being watched. Conveniently, Daddy finds out about this too.
You put someone on my kid? We agreed that everyone with access needed to be thoroughly vetted. As for your son, he may have access to databases around which we have centered our search. Therefore, deserves the same scrutiny as anyone else that fits that criteria.
He's a kid!
Yes. A particularly bright kid.
Yeah, I can really feel the brightness. Instead of dealing with this bully intelligently, he decides to go, "You shouldn't hit me because you're an adult and that would constitute as child." Easily manipulated by a girl.
Oh, I'd kill him.
And doesn't know what Kira means in Russian or Celtic.
I'm laughing at the superior intellect.
Mia and Light decide to talk about the situation.
What do you mean go quiet?
Stop fucking around with Death Note.
Is that really what you think we're doing?
She proves to be the smarter of the two.
That's why you'd have to get rid of all the agents, regardless to who they're following. That way they wouldn't know who it was, but they would definitely know what happens when you fuck with Kara.
I can't believe you're saying this.
I can't believe you're not.
Well, then I guess we're really fucking lucky that it's my book.
Oh no, he didn't! Light shows us he's a pussy kid who doesn't really know what to do with the power he has, which only serves to piss me off, who slinks away rather suspiciously. Hey, an apple? Oh boy, my spidey sense is tingling. Everyone's emotional, except for Mia.
Maybe you just need to take a minute and relax and see if this was the best thing that could have happened.
Suspicious, no?
Oh shit.
For those of you that harbored any illusions about what Kira really is, a cold-blooded murder of a dozen FBI agents should lay bare his true nature. Kira is a cowardly criminal thug. You may strike me down, but another one will stand up and take my place.
Why would he do that? He's basically forcing Kira to retaliate.
What? Are you out of your mind? It's my fucking dad!
Yeah, and he just dared us to kill him on live television. Do you really think people are gonna be on their knees if you can talk to Kira like that?
We're not killing my dad! Mia, this is over. Ryuk fucked us, we're not the good guys anymore.
Either Kira stands up or they hunt us down.
If you want out, then just get the fuck out!
Wow. Even when he's asserting himself, he still sounds pathetic. James isn't dead yet, so Elle realizes that Light is Kira.
No, I know it.
Well, if you're so sure, then why haven't you just arrested me?
Oh, because I don't do check lights. Only checkmate.
What if it turned out that all arresting Kira did was give that power to someone else? Someone potentially much worse.
You're suggesting the ability is somehow transferable.
I'm suggesting that maybe what you and the person you're after want isn't so different, and maybe they're as ready to see the killing end as you are. And if that were true, perhaps now would be a good time to start helping them instead of hunting them.
You know what I think, Light? I think you want to make a deal. Good deals are made by those in a position of strength. Criminals such as yourself never make those deals. What they do is wait until they're caught, and then they beg.
I'm not begging, I'm telling you that you don't understand.
Let me put this in terms you're more familiar with. A man kills 400 people. He tells us that it's complicated, that he's misunderstood. Do you think that Keita would hear his excuses? Or do you think that he'd walk him off a bridge?
You think you're better than me, but you're just trying to kill Kira.
Did you notice something? It's a dialogue about two different things. Elle is talking about how unjust Kira's actions are. And Light is just going on about, you don't get it, brah. There's a bigger evil that could be happening right now. If this sounds familiar to you, it should be.
I get it. I'm in trouble. All I'm trying to say is, you have the chance to stop the type of people who make things hard for everybody. You gotta see the big picture here.
A kid who doesn't want to take responsibility versus a guy finding justice. And it's sad because if we had two guys talking about their differences in the way they view justice, then at least the conversation would have been interesting. This just proves that Light isn't an interesting character as he is written here.
You think you're better than me, but you're just trying to kill Kira.
No.
Kira!
Mia comes crawling back, and all it takes for him to take her back is, I love you, White! All I've been is a cheerleader, but I hated being a cheerleader, so I want to kill people now. Really? Fucking really?
Elle showed me his face. I'm gonna get his name, and I wanna stop him.
He decides to use Watari, which is another problem. I thought you had to know the name and the face. Watari's name is really his name? The anime tells us that Watari was just a cover-up for the real guy's name. Was this a fuck-up? I read on the IMDb that this supposedly wasn't a goof. That all you need for the Death Note to activate was to get his name and face, not his real name. So if you want to kill George Michael, that's only the name you need, even though his real name is Georgios Kyriakos Panayotou? But the problem with that whole theory is that Light sends him to get the real name of Elle. Later on, he says that it wouldn't work on Elle, even though Light knows his face because Elle is only one letter and therefore not a complete usable name and won't pass rule number 2. What's rule number 2, guys?
Rule 2, this note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name.
Oh, fuck me! Those are the conditions for the Death Note to work. The only way that defense would work is there's a sub-paragraph that says, single letter names do not apply, motherfucker. So, either an alias is enough, or Watari was his real name.
Elle showed me his face.
Well, that's not my real name.
I'm gonna get his name, and I wanna stop him.
Elle is dumb. So we set up the final act. Yoip! Elle shows up and demands that the house be searched.
And I know my rights, so you gon' need a warrant for that.
Mia shows that killer intellect.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen!
Now it's time for the big ball that was foreshadowed earlier on, and Light does some edgy shit. Like I need more reasons to hate you. Light contacts Watari. Watari almost has the identity of Elle, only for him to be name-blocked by a bunch of guns. Light then realizes that he's been played by Mia. He goes back to the ballroom looking like a kid that got his toy taken away from him. Get away from her, you piece of shit!
I saved you from yourself again. Because every time things get hard, you leave me to do the real stuff.
Oh my god, it was all you. Ryuk never found a loophole. You were the loophole.
You don't get to feel superior for being a pussy.
Oh shit! This was actually good. It summarizes my thoughts on Light.
Light Turner's heart stops beating at midnight.
Oh, you're trying to kill me?
You're going to officially pass the book to me. And then once I'm the keeper, I'll burn your page.
The plan has a flaw though. I will now show you why Mia's plan is dumb. Mia Cheerleader takes out the page where she wrote her boyfriend's name in the death note and burns it. She then jumps to her death. Problem solved, Light. You already know with Watari that you could control people with the death note before they die. Did he suddenly forget that? And I just think that it's appropriate that she jumps to her death.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
So far, she's supposed to be this cold-blooded sociopath, right? So why didn't she think of that?
Pussy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Did you find Watari?
This is one of the weirder scenes. Who did L talk to? The police that were looking for Watari? The guy that shot him? What did he tell L? Yes sir, we found him, but we were suddenly moved by an irresistible compulsion to shoot the fucker down. Or, Watari? I thought he said watery, as in watery grave, because we dumped his body in the soup. How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes. What begins as the most epic chase scene in Netflix cinematic history.
Wait! Don't move! Do not move! This man is Kita. I'm working with law enforcement in order to capture and eliminate...
In my first viewing, I got really mad at this scene. It's fucking Deus Ex Machina bullshit. But then I realized it is. See, Light thought of a more convoluted way to kill Mia. And one of the rules in the Death Note is that...
Rule 28. Each death must be physically possible.
So in this case, Light wrote Mia's name down in the carousel with her boyfriend there. So I'm thinking if there's a condition that was written in the Death Note, that should occur because of Shinigami magic.
Every human spends the last moments of his life in the shadow of a death god. If we so desire, we can influence those moments.
And that's why he has to write down the two other guys so that he survives. And to misdirect people so that they wouldn't think he's Kira. I still think that this is the best way to deal with the Mia situation. Hell, if you're still paranoid that it could be traced to you, make it look like an accident. And you don't do anything after that. Because really, L has no evidence against you. L doesn't really know how you kill people.
I think that it's some form of remote viewing, coupled with maybe some latent psychic ability of some sort. I'm close.
So you really have no idea, do you?
Well, I have several ideas.
You hide the Death Note where no one else can find it. Don't show it to the first hot chick you see. You're good to go. I don't know why they had to make this big Ferris wheel explosion thing at the end. Maybe it's Hollywood. I do know one thing. This review is fucking over. Did Death Note 2017 have to suck? Probably not. Maybe if you have a better director or better script writers, this movie wouldn't have been a shit show. I think the actors could be good elsewhere, or if they were directed well. So yeah, I don't like Death Note 2017. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching this review. If you like this stuff, consider subscribing. Click that bell for notifications, or else you'll watch Death Note 2017 forever.
I began to feel really sick.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.